What is up? Welcome to the first tutorial, and in this tutorial we're going to look how we can catch those values that we put into the variables, the input variables, how to catch those and do something with it. So how to use the input checkbox to check the value, or how to use an angle to change something within your application. So first of all, this is the main body again. So when we apply the effect to like a layer or something, the render effect or the render function gets called, and it just goes through this function. So it goes through here. It gets some values some input values. Here it iterates through all the pixels and uses this function to set a value to the pixel, so change the color. This is 16-bit, this is 8-bit. So my simple gain func 16 goes through here, gets the current value of the pixel and changes the red, green, blue and alpha channels, so you can actually see the change in color. So what we're now going to do is we're going to get the input from the text box or from the checkbox. If it's true, we're going to apply this effect. If not, we're just going to skip over this whole block, extrude this whole block, and then just return this. And it's going to not return anything because you skip the whole block and all the rendering is out the window. So we're just going to do that so we can see that we can actually catch some value and then use that value in our application. So to write that, just put an if statement here and then say params nope, not that one, skeleton, I want the checkbox, and then u dot, here we're gonna do bd because as you can see it's checkbox definition. If you want something else, cd, it's color definition, so that's a color picker, fixed slider, 3D points. So if you have a 3D point, you use this one. If you have a slider, you use that one. But we have a checkbox, so we use bd, and then dot, and here you can see we have a value. So a checkbox actually returns or a 0 or a 1. So if it's true, it's 1. If it's not true, it's 0. So now we're gonna check if that value is equal to 0. If it's equal to 0 or equal to 1. So if it's true, we're gonna render it. If it's not true, we're gonna just skip all these things and just return nothing. So now I'm gonna build it, see how it looks. So I just do this by like experimenting myself and just changing. See, you can see how they get the input here. So I just do the same thing over here. You just like look up everything like that, and then you also learn C++ very good, because if you're fluent in C++, you can actually read the functionality of the application very good. So if you want to do some things yourself, just look up how C++ works and then look at all the files. So apply that skeleton effect over here. As you can see now, it just is black. It just does not return anything. When I do this slider, nothing happens. But when I check this checkbox, look, now it renders it. And now also this slider works. So that is how we can actually get variables from the user input over here and then use that in our application. Now I'm also just gonna do, I'm not gonna save this. I'm also gonna check if our params, not the checkbox but the angle, so skeleton angle is a type of value is higher than a certain value. If it's higher than a certain value, then we're gonna render it. Otherwise, we're not gonna render it. So if you wanna angle, just look it up. This fixed slider. Don't know exactly what I need. Path, pop-up, point definition, slider definition, point. Where is it? It's the first one. Yeah, it's the first one. So you do the first one and then value. So an angle actually returns a very high value. So I'm just gonna look if the value is bigger than, not dashes. If the value is bigger than this, we're gonna return true. Otherwise, we're gonna return false. So if this is true, so if it's checked and the value is higher than this, then we're gonna execute this. Now run this code, see if it works. Do it like this. Skeleton. Check. Now look, now it doesn't work because we just checked the check, but we didn't do anything with the angle. If I do this up here, now it's higher than 600,000, I think was the number, and then it does return a value. If it's this unchecked or if this is lower, then we don't return any value. So that's it for this tutorial. I hope you liked it. See you in the next one.